still continuing to work with that 20 machine. That Toyota currently leads the bottom lane. They get a big-time surge now as they regain all that ground they lost back to that high side of the racetrack as they still desperately try to find the right combination in that high lane to challenge, to get enough mojo to contend with those cars doing a brilliant job on the bottom. First 3-4 cars, single file. Now Troy Thomas there in third, or excuse me, that second place position. Almost momentarily, it was side by side with the 9 who leads the top shelf of the racetrack. Honeycutt once again showing you why you want him behind you doing all the heavy lifting. He can push anybody to the front. And that goes it's very similar story for the Napa know-how man behind him, Kensley Smith. Right where you expect him to be with the 13. Let's send it down trackside. Let's jump on board with Kensley Smith. So he currently works that high side of the racetrack top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Out of Tarboro, North Carolina. Currently cools his car down a little bit. You see the gap there between himself and the 13. He also knows you can't push the pusher. You can see the run coming now as the 15 closes back on the business end of that Camry. And again, the other thing these drivers have to keep in mind, and I'm sure that was a part of their game plan, we're going all the way a 100% or 200 laps. And if you've been around iRacing or motorsports in general, you know you cannot win it on lap 1. You have to be in it to win it, survive and stay alive. And the best way to do that is keep yourself out of harm's way. Kensley Smith doing a great job of that, as he's doing just enough right now to give that 13 that air push, but not necessarily really. Oh, hold on. Kensley Smith had no idea that lap car was even there. You know, I'm actually happy we were on board with that, just to give you guys another angle, another view. I know on the broadcast with the cameras we have, you know, sometimes it seems like, you know, we can see it no problem, but these drivers have a hard time seeing one car in front of them, let alone 2 to 3. And it wasn't until that car in front of him made the reaction. Kensley Smith had a face full of that Ford, who was about 10 miles an hour slower. Easy for that type of an incident to kick off the big one here at Daytona, which we know is possible at any point in time. It's not a matter of if, it's when. We widen things back out here once again. How about Aaron Roth up 10 spots from where he started? Second biggest mover of the race right now. The only person that's generated more spots out there on the scoring pylon is your leader of Teft, up 23, who probably feels like he is owed one, as he has been robbed, snake bit in more ways than you can skin a cat. Even going back to the Next Gen Series on Thursday night. Big storyline there in the closing laps. Perhaps the 98 driving with just a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. When I mean chip, I mean as far as trying to go out there and get that win that was stolen from him. A beautiful way of redemption would be this full-length feature here on a Sunday morning would certainly erase that and make everything a heck of a lot better out of the 98 camp. "74 laps on the board." Let's go ahead and go through the field here. Just spoke about it moments ago. Andrew Teft currently in command of this one. Troy Thomas doing a great job in the 3 machine out of Boone, North Carolina. Driver that was heavily impacted by this past hurricane season. We're glad he is doing well and is doing better. Those guys had a rough go of it earlier, or the later part of 2024, excuse me. Aaron Roth runs in that 3rd place position, while the Shake and Bake boy in 4th, Braden Honeycutt. Josh Neal going to round out your top 5. Kinsley Smith working right there with the 13, currently reporting in that 6th place position, while Rowan Lloyd piloting that 61 up 2 spots from where he kicked off. Braden Sanfilippo currently resides in 8th, while then Wrangler man Truth Oak in the 55 ride just inside your top 10. Well, Zach Burke officially rounds them out. Brian LaPratte currently running in that 11th place position, while the 0-1 of Sean Dunaway holds it down right now in 12th. The Colonel, Kirby Wayne Scott, started further in the back in this race, has put it up 12 positions. That beautiful reflective black and blue paint scheme on his 10 machine. Alex Teft, a winner just a couple weeks ago in 14th. And Alex Gates rounds out your top 15 as we have multiple packs of cars out here on the racetrack. And if we should stay green as we approach another round of green flag pit stops, that could further stretch this field out. And again, some of this could be by design, as we often see here. Best way to avoid the big run, it's a split, 50-50. Some drivers swear by staying up front and leading. Others, if they don't quite have the pace to run in the top 5, they will adventure back to the rear with the gear and try to stay out of the proverbial big one when that bomb does go off. Drivers like Chris Lawrence here in that 16 out of Tennessee. Curtis Ecker, very capable competitor inside the cockpit of the 8. I expect to see him up at the front of this before all is said and done. Brendan Puffenbanger in the 5 ride out of West Virginia. Another stout competitor, Paul Shaw, Rick Webb, Rob Yost. You can see where I'm going with this. All now currently well outside of the top 20. Just logging laps, buying time. We send it now back to the point. Honeycutt currently leads. He's going to come back up to the top of the racetrack, pick up his dance partner. Another thing, folks, I know a lot of times in real life we see the manufacturers working together. Well, don't blink your eyes or adjust your mobile device or however you get our esports content. That is a Toyota and a Chevrolet working together, and they do it very, very well and often. Now we're going to hit the nitrous button as Kinsley Smith is going to flex and show the rest of these guys how you push them down the backstretch. The bottom lane is going to try to, answer there. John Force special here at the line. Who's it going to be? Honeycutt is going to lead that one. As now, for the first time this morning, that high lane able to mount a charge to overtake and conquer that bottom lane. And look at the effort that is being put up by those drivers on the high side of the racetrack to make that happen. That's about as good as you can possibly do it. Another big push here from the 15. Let's see if they stay up, or here they go. They're going to come down to the bottom. Nicely done by all those guys. did not check up that bottom lane, did not accordion, as that'll often spark an incident on the racetrack. When you check one of these lanes, when you check up, all that energy has to go somewhere, and it's not where the fuse gets lit, where the bomb goes off, and that was done beautifully. As the Shake and Bake boys are now 1-2 from the big house at Daytona. Send it back to that 10th place position. That's where you're going to find the Wrangler man in the 55 ride Truth Hope. He has been hard to beat in qualifying trim throughout the many different series that we have running each week inside of Racers Elite Network. And if you guys are watching the stream right now looking for a new place to come home, I'm telling you, you'd be absolutely doing yourself a disservice if you did not join the Discord and get involved. We literally have all forms of racing, all things NASCAR related, virtually 7 days of racing right here at Racers Elite and Racers Elite Network. Going to provide you with the majority of that broadcast coverage as well. Class match, check, we got it. Next gens, you betcha. Trucks, you betcha. One-off special events, money racing, everything all under one roof. We can get you on the right path to being out here in competition. We'd love to have you. We try to grow our family right here at Racers Elite. Here we go. It's a mad dash for pit road as it becomes the hottest place in the building. Kinsley Smith leading him down. Great execution by all of these drivers. No one got sent off and went John Deere mode. Kinsley Smith, Troy Thomas, Brian LaPratte, Alex Gates, Ron Roth, Sam Filippo, Brandon Honeycutt. Honeycutt taking 2 tires there. Looks to be the call. We're going to keep it on Kinsley Smith. They are down and away, the 13 and the 15 in a dead near drag race off of pit road. They're going to have to get that sorted. They don't want to give up any momentum. Great teamwork there as the 13 decides he is going to leave, and the 15 is going to do the heavy work. And they do have help from behind as well. Next wave now coming in. Here comes the 82 of Neal. Belkett in the 9 also on pit road, as is the 31. Out on the racetrack, Andrew Teft, Rowan Lloyd, Truth Hoke, Sean Dunaway, Kirby, Wayne Scott, and Teft the Alex version. These guys are going to try to stay out there on the racetrack and gain a little bit of time as they were formed up like the Blue Angels out there making a high-speed pass. Here we go. No mistakes on the binders. And once again, perfection under green flag conditions here as Andrew now has it locked down in his box. Left side's going to go on that car. For Dr. Feelgood's 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing Fuel going to be the call here. This group now down and away. You see the Red Bull machine going to come out. He's going to have to really try to hurry here. Not that you can speed on pit road. As these drivers here, the Chevrolet, the Fords are going to try to get teamed up here as quickly as they can. As we send it now trackside to Kinsley Smith, as they are now at race pace coming into the turns 3 and 4 complex. Let's see how this is going to cycle out. Which group did it better? Smith at 188. Oh, they just got door knocked. He comes down. He hits them. Oh, my goodness. There we go. We're going to have a yellow flag as mayhem uncorks as we were playing pinball. Those cars were literally ricocheting off of each other, not once, not twice. More carnage. Oh, is that Toyota an innocent bystander? Oh, my God, we're still wrecking. You got to hold that brake, folks. In the words of Phil Collins, I can feel that coming in the air tonight. However, I know it's currently the morning. Oh, also getting a report that Jesse Fox was involved in that one as well. As I believe this is going to be the first caution for incident as we send it now back to the REN instant replay. Go ahead and roll playback. Let's see, the 69 already off track there. That's going to be post. Let's try this view here. Just load this up here from a different angle. There we go. That's what we're looking for. We're going to back this up just a little bit. And again, this is going to really affect some race cars that were up at the front here. Look at this. Not once, twice. They're going to door bang again. Right there they touch. Brandon Honeycutt, currently right now, when he sees this, is probably having a conniption inside the cockpit as it uncorks. And look at what happens. Honeycutt gets stuffed into the fence. The 15 as well gets punted up the racetrack. Then he's going to come screaming down the banking as those two cars that set it off continue to make contact there with Hoke. Then he's going to redirect up into the just pulverized howitzer, the Camaro. He's going to go flow rider mode right round. Oh, you hate to see this. Still under caution here at Daytona, folks. So we're taking a look at the incident that brought out the yellow flag. Send this up quickly to the eye in the sky here to the chopper. Yeah, and that sandwich, it is not okay to three-way at Daytona. 8 times out of 10, it doesn't work well, and typically, when you door slam one another, if you continue to do it, which would happen here, I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, there was room there. You didn't have to continue to high-five each other like that. And just, again, I'm up here in the broadcast booth, not on the racetrack. As you can see here, they're bagging off each other, and they continue to do so. And something's got to give, and unfortunately, Honeycutt and the 15 were the... Oh, and it just gets worse from there. Oh, another big shot there. His car thought he had an escape route, and that lane quickly closed up before he got there. So we now cycle back to the live side of things. Please don't do that. Thank you. I got worried there for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Teff, currently your leader. And he has been a juggernaut throughout the early going of this race, coming off a gut-wrenching late race incident. That's the word I was looking for in the Next Gen Series last week. A lot of controversy that also seemed to follow that issue well after the race was over. And he is driving with a little bit of an extra authority out there on the racetrack, as he feels like he had got probably robbed, and I agree as well. Taft and Dunaway going to share the first lane here. That's going to be on the bottom, that Camaro on the top shelf of the racetrack. Then you have the modern day Joe Nemechek, Truth Holt, the Rocket, especially in qualifying, Kirby Wayne Scott, Aaron Roth, and Alex Teff. That's going to be your first 3 rows of business. As those lights do go out on the iRacing.com pace car, which means we're going back to it this time by, as that field now makes its way through the turns 3 and 4 complex right here on Racers Elite Network. Wait, what the? Green flag back in the air as I just had another heart attack up here in the broadcast booth as I went to check in on the live chat to engage with all of you and was told that the stream was offline initially. And as you can imagine, with the gremlins this morning, I had to calmly refresh the page. Thank God we are still live with all of you. I had a brief heart attack there as back up to speed. Teft continues to do it his way out here at the big house. A little bit of lane blocking here, trying to make the right decision. Tell you what, that Mustang is FAST fast. I mean, when you shoot out like that, I mean, you have no help. I mean, that it's really easy to get freight trained, and that car still was able to maintain a good amount of its energy there. Truth Hoke now going to get his first taste of the lead in the 55, up 5 spots here. New challenger in the outside lane now leads, and that Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Pepsi colors on board that Dark Horse. Currently showing the number 94, however, not seeing that number here in SDK, so perhaps he has a custom paint loaded on that race car. But for the sake of the broadcast, for what you viewers are seeing, I'll try to refer to him as the 94 to avoid any conflictions or confusion with you guys. Side-by-side drag race here, up at the front. Hope continues to have just enough boogie to keep that CL1 large and in charge. That top shelf of the racetrack, they are getting formed up. They got the shake and bake boys up there, all the power hitters. And here comes the run. The 101 of Brian LaPratte said, hey, not so fast. Watch this broadcast. I see you. And he gives a push of the ages to Hope. Looked like they had that push to pass button down there, and I know they don't have that in NASCAR. That's a Formula One thing, but that was mighty impressive. And in fact, he has really disrupted the front of this field, just as far as, how everything was sorted and lined up. Now the top shelf gets reorganized. And Brian LaPratte is possessed right now. Big time shots down the straightaway. Hey, that's perfectly fine. Little pushing through the corner there as well. Got to be careful coming off that turn 4 of the triover. That's where that car gets light. Teff now hits the nitrous booster on the top shelf of the racetrack. As they send it off into turns 1 and 2. .187 miles per hour on the outside lane. 190 on the bottom. We'll watch these speeds as they continue to tandem drag race. Just how you like your Waffle House hash browns, smothered and covered. Teff's going to have the momentum. Does he come down to the bottom? And he does. He's going to bail on the high lane. And I get it. Where you've been most successful here throughout the course of 97 laps, right there on the bottom. Two lanes of fury live from the big house at Daytona Beach, Florida. Julia checking in on the live chat saying, let's go, baby, talking about the 43. We appreciate you sounding off, being a part of the broadcast and the conversation. 43, the brother of Andrew Teff, the Alex version. Again, mentioned earlier, got a win not that long ago here out there in competition. Doing a great job here through the first 100 laps of this race, or just shy, I should say, officially working lap 98. And these laps will go by faster than you expect, especially lean, mean, and green conditions out there on the racetrack. Just one caution per incident thus far throughout the course of this race. Tell you what, that number 20 machine out there, that Toyota. Alex Gates now going to take the lead here. Got the Red Bull rocket behind him. Three-car single file. However, once again, that number 20 is not on the lead pace. He has actually scored in that 22nd place position. However, he's been hanging out at the front, fighting the good fight, doing everything he can, trying to get that lap back, and has really helped lead these leaders at time. Really been a draft asset out there. Beautiful looking 83 Red Bull race car out there on the racetrack, throwing it back there to Red Bull Racing and Brian Vickers. Great to see that paint scheme back. Kicking it back to the mid-2000s. Similar case for the 83, though. Not on the lead lap. He is back there, I believe. That's Roche Jr. in 21st. So should we get a caution, these guys trying to do it the hard way. That's the big question of if. As we're back to single file racing here now. All the way back through about the first 9-10 positions on the racetrack. Wow, look at the surge. The few and the proud on the high side. Look at this run from Tep. Let's send it back down trackside. It's these guys are booking it on the top shelf now. Jump on board with the Ford. The 98 of Andrew Teft. One of the best looking views, in my opinion, of the restrictor plate side of things here. Just looking out the back bumper and taking a look at your help, just how close quarters, how tightly packed these race cars are. As here comes that Z01 Camaro. He's going to give him a face full, literally. One 103 laps now officially in the history books here from Daytona Beach, Florida. You got it locked into Racers Elite Network as the HMFIC Andrew Teft leads. We're going to step aside for the first time, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back with coverage from Daytona. Stick around. Oh, wait, 3 wide. Let's wait it here 1 moment. Don't cut the commercial break yet, guys. Looks like everyone's going to get through here cleanly. Is Teft in a drag race? With that bottom lane as he changes now to the high side of the racetrack. We'll step aside. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Race fans, welcome back to the Big House at Daytona on Racers Elite Network. As the HMFIC Andrew Teff continues to carry the torch and show the way here at the Big House, as we now have a single lane of cars that have broken away. They currently have about a 1.5 second gap back to that 77 machine of Alex Gates, who's currently in that 5th place position. The shake and bake duo, Honeycutt and Kensley Smith, have been separated for the time being, as we now have multiple groups of cars out there on the racetrack, as Teff continues to set a blistering pace here on Daytona 500 Sunday. Racers Elite, their 2nd annual event, doing it on the racetrack before the real-life event, which has been pushed up by an hour via NASCAR because of, you guessed it, folks, rain threatening once again. The race in real life won't be a problem here, though. As it's Teff, LaPratt, Roth, Kensley, Smith. You don't want to get much further back than where Kensley is right now, because it is easy to lose this draft in the next gen, and he's well aware of it. as Edgar now falls in line behind Troy Thomas out of Boone, North Carolina, a.k.a. the Nitrous Cowboy, in that 17th place position. Christopher Pendle's going to round out your top 20. Then you have Chris Lawrence in the 16 machine out of Tennessee. 21st, Corey Crowell currently resides 22nd in that TRD-powered machine out of Ohio. Paul Shaw, another Pennsylvania in the house. Catch him on Twitch/Cobalt_2825. I can assure you he is probably live now. Good for 23rd. And from out of the Mars campaign, Brandon Puffenbanger in the 5 ride, rounding out your top 24. Truth Hope out of Hickory, North Carolina. Not where he would like to be right now at the moment, however, still has time out there to get some positions out there in the racetrack. Good for that 25th spot. Well, Jesse Fox in the 69 ride, supporting those Sunoco colors. Slots in 26, well, a 60 of Lee Campbell out of my home state, New York. Currently runs in 27th, and we got a Camaro pulling off coming down pit road. I believe that was Troy Thomas. Aaron Roth on pit road. That's the 57. Joshua Neal as well. These cars now going to come off as green flag pit stops underway here once again. Now all your leaders coming down pit road. LaPratt, Troy Thomas, Kinsley Smith, Alex Gates, Justin Recker, Honeycutt. Look at this mad dash of cars coming off of pit road. Trying to grab a clutch, hope the rear end doesn't punch, and send it as fast as you possibly can. Remember, flatlands down there, you can't go as hard as you would like to. Ooh. Little wheel spin there for that Mountain Dew machine. Kinsley Smith getting back up to speed. However, there's a lane of cars. There's a 4-pack. And to see if they can surge ahead, and they should be able to, is Smith now getting back to the 78. They should cycle Aaron Roth now to the lead out of the Midwest, the state of Nebraska. He's got Neal, Kinsley Smith in tow, I believe. Kinsley being scored in third, so the 94 continues to be a lap down, as does the 20. Despite having great speed out there, just cannot catch a caution to get him back in business and to contend in this race.
It's just things that happen to me that I'm like, I can give you grace for that, I know that's not your best self. I know that we are working through this, blah, blah, blah. But for this, he's like, no, you're attacking my culture. And I'm just like,
that wave of green flag pit stops now complete. And that is further strung out this field. Multiple cars now at least one lap down or more. Everyone chasing. This group of Banshees out there that currently putting down some very fast lap times. Roth just ran a 46.40. Just a tenth off of his fastest lap of the race. Actually, not even that. So this group of cars putting down a blistering pace right now, running single file, trying to keep themselves ahead of Group B, where you'll find Brandon Honeycutt, Brian LaPratte, who was leading not that long ago. In fact, let's send it down trackside. Let's jump on board with the Toyota of Honeycutt. So they're trying to close the gap. They're trying to reel in the leaders on lap 133. Now going to cycle over to 134. We just come by Barney and the checkered, or the flag stand. Excuse me, not checkered flag. Not yet. And they are gaining ground. They are. They got 4 tenths out of that last lap. A 46.95 from the leader. Brandon Honeycutt ran a 46.55. Just a little bit more of an effort here, and they should start to feel the draft from the lead pack, and that will only accelerate them, and they should be able to catch them with a head of steam. Potentially some of the fastest speeds of the race here, right now. Let's throw up the telemetry once again. Honeycutt now 188 coming out of the corner. Gap now less than 2 seconds. It's down to 166. Honeycutt says slingshot engage, and you can see now almost 200 miles an hour, and we should see speeds over that when they do start to catch the toe. Let's jump one car forward. LaPratte, we already know this Camaro is wicked fast, and this draft assist here is going to be huge. This next-gen car, you only get 0.6 of a second if you're lucky before you lose the draft. However, he is there now. Watch this run. He is going to get now 195. Oh, he's going to catch him in the corner. May not see that 200 mile per hour marker now. He would have, but he is there. You can see just how fast he was able to catch them. Now let's see if he decides to pull out. That's going to be the game plan as you see Kinsley Smith make the move there. And that's how you coordinate and orchestrate, like the elites late racing. Oh, that 20 going to kind of throw a monkey wrench here. Oh, he's blocking the 15. He's going to side doink the 101. It's now those two separate packs now blend together and become one group out there on the racetrack. Well, it's fast and furious for these guys here. This is only not even half the field right here in this group. Andrew Tepp still in it in that 8th spot. Remember, he was flawless through the first 115, 20 laps. Kind of lost a couple spots there just due to how the green flag pit stops went, and he's still there right now. He is in it to win it. But that Ford was just so dominant here in the early going out front. He is tough to get around. If he gets the lead, he looks a lot like those DEI cars from back in the early 2000s, just like that Napa 15. I mean, once he got the lead, he was tough to get around. Alex Tepp, the final car in the rear with the gear here in 10th. Then you have to go an eternity, 2 counties over, till you find Kirby Wayne Scott here. 2 cars working together. Over 12 seconds behind. The group fighting for the lead here. Then another 5 back, and then you have a gaggle of race cars being led by Rick Webb, Zach Burke, Rowan Lloyd. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th. And they will catch Wayne Scott and company, and they should be able to blend in and be absorbed by this group of cars. However, they have a huge ask to be able to make up almost 20 seconds of real estate out there on the racetrack as we quickly approach lap 140. They will need a Daytona miracle in the form of a yellow flag or something to go wrong for somebody else if they want to have a shot here at the trophy. Working lap 140 here at the scheduled 200 from Daytona Beach, Florida. We're going to go ahead and crank it up for the first time here this race. Go ahead, grab that dial, turn it up right along with us here on Racers Elite Network. Let's do this thing. Race fans, welcome back to Daytona. I hope you enjoyed that extended Crank It Up session brought to you by the official setup shop of Racers Elite and Racers Elite Network, McConey's Setup Shop. Put some new vibe in your ride, get some new boogie under the hoodie, and join the community that goes the extra mile. It's more than a speed shop. It's a family, it's a culture to be a part of. McConey Speed Shop, the official of the network and Racers Elite. As we almost lost connection there once again. As we wound up inside of the Racers Elite Network cutaway car there momentarily. We continue to try to do our best and fight the good fight here on the broadcast side of things. It's been horrifying here at times. Here in the early hours. It was off for about 5 or 6 hours. Finally got it restored about 20 minutes after the green flag. Could have been a little bit longer than that. Just glad we were able to get this broadcast to go as Kinsley Smith now carries the torch here. Just 50 laps remaining. Point in time in the race where you just kind of want to ride. Just trim these laps off that scoring pylon. Kinsley Smith, Brian LaPratte, Honeycutt, Alex Gates, and Aaron Roth are the top 5. 2 Chevrolets, then the Toyota of Honeycutt, and then another Chevrolet, trio of Chevrolets. As they come out of turn number 4 and send it down the front stretch. Through the tri-oval we go. Single file, turning and burning. Send it back to that 13th place position. That's where you're going to find the 31 of Zach Burke. Or Burrick, excuse me. And again, similar story here. Single file. Kirby Wainscott also featured in this pack of cars, holding out of the top 15 in 14th, and then Rick Webb going to pull up the caboose in that 15th place position. Then you have to go back a staggering 20 seconds where you find the 16th place car of Corey Crow. Everyone chasing the Napa know-how, man. Kinsley Smith is just 15 cars remain on the lead lap, courtesy of all this lean, mean, and green. Racing here with minimal cautions, multiple green flag pit stops. That is going to be the end result. The drivers that have had some additional look out there on the racetrack, have kept it out of harm's way, and able to go beast mode on pit road. All play a big contributing factor to seeing who is currently towards the front in this piece. This green flag pit stops always oh so critical. All things Racers Elite. Last time by, Kinsley Smith ran a 47.09. Just about a full second off his fastest lap of a 46.08. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Alex Gates with a 46.02, so almost breaking into the 45-second bracket. Actually, I'd take that back. I stand corrected. Once again, the Rocket, Rowan Lloyd, going to have the hot one at a 45.72. Where did he pull that lap from? Lloyd in 11th, just outside the top 10. Kurt sounding off in the YouTube.com live chat saying, let's go, Team Mars. And since he's supporting the cause there, calling out his boys, let's go ahead and find Puffenbanger. Pretty sure he is a part of Team Mars out being represented here on the Speedway. Currently runs in that 28th place position. At 5 has been on pit lane for an extended period of time. Not the run Puffenbanger was looking for. And Kurt, you got another car out there in competition. I'll get you some extra screen time for them as well. Just let me know who else you got out there on the racetrack, my friend. As the Chevrolets continue to command the field and the front of this race. Right now, it's the calm before the storm. You see everyone playing nice. Give a little bit of give and take going on. You see the separation out there, just trying to give that little extra insurance out there on the racetrack, not really locking bumpers. However, it's like being in the middle of the eye of a Category 5 hurricane. All is calm, not for long, as this field will take on a much different look as we get down to the single-digit laps remaining. Three bad fast race cars at the front. A driver we know very well, always a threat at plate races, Kinsley Smith, a.k.a. the Napa Know-How Man, Brian LaPratte, in that ZL1 Mustang, has shown time and time again he can push you through the heavens. And if you want to go places, just have him get locked on the business end of your race car. Very similar story for your third place driver who rounds out the podium as we run right now. And that's the Toyota of Honeycutt. In fact, these guys starting to pull away just a little bit now over the 77 of Alex Gates. Is the connection? Please do not fail me again. See Teff now trying to make some ground as he goes to the high side of the racetrack. One car completely disappears. The 94 gets a case of the blinkies. Luckily, no one behind him. Is Teff now back to 6th? The other Ford there continues to fight the good fight, just cannot get that lap back. There's a bunch of drivers currently one lap down. He's not going to have to side draft. And that actually may affect that group of cars and make them disconnect here from this. Would be then lead pack, as they have the numbers. Dunaway there in the 0-1. The 78, Richard Ode, currently being scored in 16th. As he's now going to lead Group B, or Group number 2, The 01 there done away as well. And you have the 988 machine. Justin Rector. Bobby chiming in saying, let's go LaPratt. Talking about the 101 currently in that second place position. Let's go on board since Bobby's shouting them out. Let's get you some extra time with your driver. You're now on board. There it is, a late race caution. As you heard the spotter break through over the radio. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to change everything. I'll tell you what, Daytona never disappoints from a broadcast standpoint. However, some of these drivers like Smith, LaPratt, Honeycutt, they might be madder than a Keebler or Elf. They got the motor to fudge packer over this one. Is that's going to put everyone on the lead lap back in it to win it. We're going to have finally a lucky dog candidate here as well. Is that iRacing.com pace car is going to make its way back onto the field and take us back down to a snail's pace. This changes everything. Pace car now catches the field coming out of the turns 3 and 4 complex. That's why I always say it's never over until it is over, no matter how many times you've seen it play out. It is not written in stone. Should see these drivers peel off down pit road, and here they come. Come one, come all. As it now becomes the hottest place in the facility. LaPratt, Gates, Neal, everybody. Alex Teft, Aaron Roth, Honeycutt, Rowan Lloyd. All coming. Oh, Rowan Lloyd had a mistake. He overshot his box, got into the wall there. A little bit of self-inflicted concrete poisoning. In this situation here, I don't think tires are going to help you. Just splash and go. Get that fuel. Unless you've been out there for an eternity on those Dr. Feelgoods. Kensley Smith going beast mode, comes in first, going to come off first, and look who is right behind him. You cannot make this stuff up. Team Shake and Bake 1-2. It's about to get real. However, you cannot discount what LaPratt, Gates, and others have done this race either. But this is a picture that we know all so well. May not be the mainstream way to do it as far as the Toyota and Chevrolet teaming up, but if you have spent any time here at Racers Elite, you see those two get hooked up and you know it is going to be a dogfight until the end. You're absolutely right, Kurt. As he says, Corey was right there about to get his lap back. IDK, what happened? He said, I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, what may have happened here, and I'm not sure, but after that caution comes out, if you are Lucky Dog eligible, if you so much as even breathe on another car, a wall, commitment cone, iRacing will take it away from you with any type of contact. I'm not saying that was the case, but that could be a factor there. As we now re-rack, restack this deck. for a late race showdown here. Almost like a last chance qualifier at a Friday night short track. Do we end this race at a natural finish on lap 200, or do we have to go all the way invoking overtime? If you look at the trends, it would suggest where this caution came out, we will go into overtime. Because now this race is going to take on an entirely different look. Give and take will be out the window. When you get those runs, drivers will not be lifting. While you're in that race car, reach up there, pull those belts tight one more time. Wipe the dust, wipe the visor. Lights are out on the pace car. We're about to get back to it. As the field now rolls through 3, getting ready to come out of 4 here. That outside lane is lagging back a ton. Race control might wave this off if he doesn't get up there. Here we go. Okay. Really not that big of an urgency. I understand why you want to do it, trying to leg back, but that is not allowed as they now get it tightened up here. Kinsley Smith goes deep in the restart zone. He is going to shoot out of a cannon. That by design to let Honeycutt stay right where the 15 wants him, and that's, well, both these guys are great. 1, 2, the Ford, the Chevrolet, they're lethal. And it is slingshot engaged for the shake and bake tandem, Honeycutt and Smith. Where's that 101? Oh, there he is on the high side of the racetrack, that Camaro. It's also been bad FAST fast. You can see the side draft aggression starting to pick up. Now some help from another Chevrolet. See if that can give them the surge. Does LaPrade go back to the bottom and bail on the bow tie? He does. As that stalls the line, and now we got our first 5 cars single file. One lane of lean, mean race cars for the top 5. Then you got 2x2 Fury. And as you can see, that yellow flag has completely rearranged the scene here at the front of this piece. We have a lot more cars now. All vibing, feeling like they have a chance to win it. Reinvigorating them, relighting that fire inside of the cockpit of their race car. And you can see the intensity starting to pick up and build out there on the racetrack. Honeycutt now starting to dial up the pushing just a little bit more on the 15. They continued to have a 3 to 4 car breakaway single file before the 2x2. Fast and furious action just behind the leaders. Alex Teff now up to 7th. Sean Dunaway in 8th. Aaron Roth. And how about Rick Reb sneaking into the top 10? Where did he come from? 30 laps remain from the Big House in the second annual 200-lap event from Daytona. Alex Teft in 7th. Andrew Teft. The driver who was large and in charge here for about 110 laps or so. She's fallen back a little bit. And I don't think he's running as hard as he can right now. He knows he does not want to be leading this thing right now. I mean, it is came up and bit him a bunch of times, and I think we're going to see a little bit of different strategy here from the 98. As he now runs in the high lane, top shelf of the racetrack. 3 wide in the rear. And as we've seen, it has not been okay to three-way at Daytona. And they're not doing themselves any favors. They need to get single-filed or 2x2 up there. I mean, they've already almost lost this draft. You cannot do that in this race car. There's the Nitrous Cowboy there. The 60 as well. We're going to have to split the 12, who's way off the pace. Get skinny, boys. They're going to bang off of each other. No harm, no foul. A little bit of a Code Brown moment for certain for the 54 to Rick Webb there. They're trying to get this figured out back here, but be much better off just dropping back in line, getting single file. This razzle-dazzle not helping their efforts right now. As you can see how much ground they have lost. Tinsley Smith at the helm. His first officer, Brandon Honeycutt, in tow right where he wants him. And it's going to be hard for this top lane to challenge the bottom when you have the Shake and Bake Boys 1-2. They are not running as hard as they can right now. I can assure you of that. And they will toy with you. They will let you think you're going to get a run, and then they'll set the dial to kill, lock bumpers, and here we go. Slingshot engage, even though we're not passing anybody. And look at the momentum surge. As that outside lane was almost there before we fired off into the complex. Oh, Brandon Honeycutt's going to get sent below the double yellow, able to get it back up. You cannot advance your position down there. That is out of bounds. However, Honeycutt didn't. As that car went twisted sister on him and just shot down there. I don't think he got pushed down there. I think that car just decided to react differently versus the other plus 150 times he's been there this race. Again, fires the rocket boosters. He's going to surge the 15. As that high lane with some bad, fast race cars, including Teft, continuing to try to get some mojo and generate some boogie under the hoodie to come up there and contend with the Chevrolet and the Toyota. Let's go down trackside and pick it up with Andrew Teft currently in that second lane, running the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Taking a look at their telemetry, bottom right-hand corner, 191 miles an hour. Some of the highest speeds we've seen coming off the corner all race long. Trying to generate a run. That 20 continues to be a great asset to these cars up near the front, even though he is off the lead pace and has been that way for most of this race. Now 193, 194. You can see them closing in. Oh, they're going to get a run here. Honeycutt not locked to the back of the 15. As we widen things back out, here we go. Honeycutt's going to put the bumper to the 15. Oh! He went to time it, saw that door was closed, took it back up to the top shelf. That lane change is kind of going to gut check the bottom a little bit. However, it's a John Force special now through the thirds, 1 and 2 complex as we fire back down the super stretch. The high lane has the momentum. And look who is back to the point. It's not Andrew Teft. It's Mr. How did he do it? Mr. Houdini, who won a couple weeks ago. Alex in the Toyota. Now leads with 22 laps to go. However, Andrew Teft, Alex Teft, and Andrew Teft are now 1-2. Oh. The New England boys are cooking right now. You got a Toyota, a Ford, another Toyota. Let's see how Kinsley Smith and Honeycutt try to answer this. And they're going to say we're going to go to the second lane here. Kinsley Smith with a 4-mile-an-hour advantage right now, or was. As you can see them about to pull dead even with Teft, the Alex version. Side by side. World War II style trench warfare as here comes the McDonald's throwing the biscuits to the back of the 43. The 13's going to keep the wick lit a little bit longer, and now Kinsley surges ahead. Can they clear to the bottom? No, they're going to stay dedicated to the cause on the high side. Brings the 77 with him. Team shake and bake back to the point. Laps remaining in this one. Hello, big time move. A leap of faith from the top shelf of the racetrack. He really stuffed it down there. Who was that? That was the 9. He just sent it Bon Jovi style, living on a prayer. It's a miracle that hole was big enough. There's the 55 in the high lane. Truth Hoke in that 18th place position. $19 laps remaining to go in this one from Daytona. Who will win the second annual 200-lap event? Post-race interviews and more. We're going to step away for the final time. Then we'll be back with coverage all the way to the checkered flag. and post-race coverage here on Racers Elite Network. We'll see you in 3 minutes. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rally car program, and the 50 car program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Race fans, welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Racers Elite out there doing business in the final act here from this 200-lap event of the high-flying, high-octane racing action. Welcome back, Matt Metler up at the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth. Oh, big-time move there. I don't know if he got what up there on purpose or got shot out of the hot dog bump there off the nose of the 13. But the 43 looked like he was on a collision course with the safer barrier, and instead now teams up with his brother, Alex Teft. However, the fierce and ferocious pushing, oh, good Lord Jesus, hold on to it, Wade Scott. How did he save that race car? He got hit again. He's went back John Deere mode. Are you serious right now? Kirby. I know the distance down there is shorter, bud, but slick tires had, well, and grass don't necessarily work well. Not that you wanted to do that. And I know some of you guys in the chat were looking for an opportunity to see that caution or what happened under that caution. The replay function has not been our friend post those connection issues we've had this morning, guys. The last thing I wanted to do is have to restart this computer after losing coverage here on the early laps of this race. But I appreciate all of you being here as it's still Kinsley Smith, Brandon Honeycutt, Alex Gates, Justin Rector, Rowan Lloyd, Alex Teft. And the Big Mac man there in the 98. Looking for redemption. After literally getting gut checked, being snake bitten not even a week ago on Thursday night. And the closing laps looked like he was finally going to do it. And yet disaster had other plans for the 98 of Andrew Teft. Trying to rewrite the storybook here and get that bitter taste out of his mouth with help from his brother just in front. And now they're going to team up with another hot Chevrolet there, the 101 of LaPratte. Just shy of 10 laps to go. As the intensity continues to build down on the racing surface. Last time by, Andrew Teft ran a 46.81 to Kinsley Smith's 46.58. They're going to need to find a little more speed. They did add 2 more cars up there. That could help. But I think that 101, and some of these guys are going to have to start to decide to pull some more aggressive side drafting here and say, oh, here we go. Now they're starting to get a run. There's the side draft from the 101. Here comes the block. Oh, this is not going to be good. They're bobbing, they're weaving, they're doing the Indy snake, but we are still lean, mean, and green. As it's 3 wide here at Daytona down the super stretch. Teft in the black hole. He is in the dark matrix, right where you don't want to be, but here comes LaPratte trying to take a negative and use it to his advantage as he's got support. Andrew Teft gets donkey punched. The back end of his car twitches. He's still got it. Oh, here it goes. They're going to no way. Unbelievable. You got to be. Oh, the 9 just swan dived it into the fence. We're going to go manual mode here. We're just going to rewind this. You talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda. We're going to slow this down. This should have been the nuclear bomb. A warhead going off close range proximity. Eating multiple race cars for lunch. There it goes right there. You got, look at this. I mean, he's at a 45-degree angle right there. That 9 is the front is off the ground. Full-blown drift mode. This at quarter speed gets a poke check from the 43. I am lost for words. Look at this. He's still sideways. The 9 goes around again. Again, half the car on the apron, tires off the ground. He stabs the brake, gives it full aileron, and then at the very last second, I thought he had it again, and it went straight into the safer barrier on him. Not a huge hit, But are you kidding me? Absolutely incredible. Well, one thing's for certain, we're going to need a couple new race suits down on pit road. Need to get the steam cleaner, the mobile car detail service out there for a couple of these guys. How did we... It's the magic of Daytona. And it has an evil side, don't get me wrong, folks, but I don't... That's not supposed to happen. I'm glad it did, as we're under caution here now. Late in this one. As we now transition back to the live side of things. As I'm still trying to scrape my jaw off the floor here in the broadcast booth. 6 laps remaining in this one, under caution. NASCAR meets Star Wars Jedi. Is it woulda, coulda, shoulda? And using the Force, the only thing I could come up with on how we didn't have multiple cars ready for the scrapyard and parts raiding into the grandstands. Smith, Honeycutt, Gates, Justin Rector, Brian LaPratte, your top 5. Aaron Roth currently runs in that 6th place position, up 7 spots from where he started. Biggest mover inside the 90 or inside the top 10 is going to be your 94, 25 positions to the good, the Ohio man. 31 being piloted by Zach Bjork, up 13. Rowan Lloyd back even with the board. In 9th, Joshua Neal rounds out your top 10 out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Honeycutt has a little bit of damage to his nose. Not a ton, but a little, but probably does not want to lead if he's aware of it. You can see he has a mild case of pug face on the front of that Camry. "20 on the lead lap, that's darn right. Give us a yellow, and he willed it to happen. He says, let's go." But how about that save guy? That was some incredible driving. Gentleman's handshake lap currently on the board with 5 to go. Will get the green flag with just 4 circuits remaining, or 4 laps remaining. Got Grandma next to me. She's locked and loaded. She's got her life alert in one hand, kernel-free popcorn in the other. Will it be one of the dominant plate racers in victory lane, or will it be a surprise up and coming star that's on the rise? There goes the pace car. Here we go. Kinsley Smith's going to have the button here into the Geico restart zone. He's going to put his foot through the floorboards, and those glorious V8s come roaring back to life. And here comes the slip and rip as Kinsley Smith shoots out, creates a hole for his draft partner to drop down to the bottom. I've even tried to time that and screw it up, and I still couldn't do it. They have that down so good. So you know what I do? I work with them now. I try to be on their team. I ain't lying. How about that 03 now, leading the high side of the racetrack in that 988 inspired machine? Getting back up to speed here in the bottom lane, trying to show what they've done pretty much all race, and that is a little extra muscle than the high side of the racetrack. That dark horse now getting a more aggressive push from the outside lane. Here comes the Teft brothers, Alex and Andrew. That's 7th and 8th, and Rowan Lloyd's going to get shot out of a cannon. Do we stay green or does the caution come back out? Lowen Royd. Oh, no. Hold on to it, buddy. Tried to put his foot in it. He's still rolling. 2 laps to go. We're staying green. Lloyd should be out of there by the time this lead pack gets there. However, horrible, gut-wrenching set of circumstances for the 61 as we're keeping it lean, mean, and green here at the big house with just 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. Andrew Teft and Alex Teft now have lit the wick. They're letting it rip. Tater Chip, oh no! The 13 just got KO'd. I don't believe it. We're going to go into overtime. Is Honeycutt had a vicious hit, and the Smith just lost his dance partner as Andrew Teft now back to second. Again, we're going to have to rewind this here. As the last time I touched that replay button, we're not going back there. Gauge the flux capacitor. Here we go. This should be good right here. Coming, transitioning from the super stretch back in to the turns complex. All is calm. Not for long, as that was a bad, ill-timed push. You can see the collision course that Honeycutt is on right there. Let's go to the bumper cam of Kinsley Smith, your leader. This will give us a real up-close and personal look at this one. And again, that damage I was talking about earlier. So here we go. This is from the onboard of Kinsley Smith looking back. Oh, huge, massive hit. He's going to be picking his teeth up out of the cockpit of that race car for a month. That's going to deploy the caution. As we have now will go into overtime. And why not? It is Daytona after all. And the hope and the dream is still alive for Andrew Teft. LaPratt in third. And don't look now, Kirby out of Sparta, Kentucky, in fifth. Rick Webb knocking on the back door of the top 5 in sixth. This is where that spotter needs to be, that voice of reason. Keeping that driver calm. I'll tell you what, when I'm in races like this, late in the race, nerves get at you. These drivers have been fighting these direct drive wheels, all the forces iRacing can throw at them now for almost 200 laps. You can't take a break. You can't ease up a microsecond. As we're going to go another time around here, as those lights should go out on the pace car now. And, no, they're still on. Okay. So this is going to give these drivers a little bit more time here to think about it. And sometimes too much time to think about these things is a bad thing. All these different scenarios running through these drivers' heads. Kinsley Smith lost the boosters on that rocket. As Honeycutt literally went up the wall and seen Dale. As he has done so in the pits. Heartbreak for the 13. There's Andrew Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. Trying to see if Daytona gives him what he feels potentially is owed or been owed. The Ford in the Chevrolet sandwich. LaPrade has had speed always. He has been a fierce pusher as well in that 101 machine. Does Kinsley Smith work with the 98 here? I think that is a possibility. LaPrade, I don't know very well. I know him from some other leagues, but I don't have the history calling necessarily races that he runs. So I know he's a Chevrolet. He's got a Ford in between them. The only thing I know is that 101 is quick. And he knows how to execute out there. Certainly not out of the question for the 101. But I think we will see the 15 and the 98 work together here now that Honeycutt has been sidelined. Green flag back in the air. 3 laps to go in overtime. As it's a side-by-side drag race up through the sequential shifter once again. The Ford going to surge ahead early. However, he's going to try to come down as he deploy the side draft here to try to check the 15. Oh, it is up close and personal. LaPrade giving the business to the 15. Look at the push on the top shelf. Look at the run, and Andrew Teft in the 98, I don't believe it, is back to the lead with 2 laps to go. And I am done talking about the 98. That's it. Aaron Roth in the 57, now in second, the highest I believe he has been all race long. And Rick Webb in that 4th place position, trying to be the modern day Kevin Harvick. Where did he come from? Oh, Kinsley Smith now stuck in the middle. Oh, white flags already in the air. Doesn't matter. We're racing back as multiple cars get wadded up as we thunder down the backstretch for the final time. Rick Webb, highest he's been on the scoring pylon all race. Rowan Lloyd is there as well. Coming out of turns number 4. Wrecking in the trial of multiple cars, and at the start-finish line, it's going to be Aaron Roth that's going to get the win as we're still destroying race cars behind him. Sean Dunaway and Andrew Teft is going to come home 3rd and immediately takes it back to the pits. Aaron Roth with the run of a lifetime. Coming out of 4. He's going to get the win in this 200-lap special event. Sean Dunaway up not 10, not 12, 28 positions. Also in a Chevrolet going to come home third. And Andrew Teft going to come home fourth. As we now transition to post-race coverage here on Redline Racers Elite Network. Another wild one. I knew it was going to be that way. I did not let that single, or I should say multiple groups on the racetrack, fool me again. I knew we were going to get a late race caution some way, somehow, and it would be epic here at the end. And boy, was it ever. As we now get ready to interview our top three drivers as we transition to post-race coverage here on the channel. Aaron Rollup, Sean Dunaway, and Andrew Teft, your top three. Again, I want to take this moment to thank everyone for joining us along for the ride here this evening or this morning. Hope you guys enjoyed a thriller here at Daytona. Make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell. This way you'll never miss any of the high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on Racers Elite Network. And like I said earlier, literally 7 days of racing action here under the Racers Elite banner. As we get ready to talk to our top three drivers. See if they are ready now as you give them a moment to speak with their teams, their fans, their family. Let's jump back in the Discord here. Joining me now in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth, well said. I couldn't agree with you more. And again, the intensity there on that restart. What was it like inside the cockpit under those pace laps, knowing you were going into overtime? What was the game plan? Were you going to try to work with the 15, or were you just going to send it and just leave it up to just will and sheer just luck on the racetrack to see where you came out, or did you have a calculated plan there at the end? And cannot hear Teft. Stand by. Not to sound like a Verizon commercial, but Andrew, can you hear me now? I can hear you now as well. one more time. I was saying before we cut you loose, Andrew, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the 98? And Andrew now not in the chat here. And I was having connection issues this morning. However, it looks like I'm streaming through okay. I want to thank him for joining me up here in the booth. Moving on. Joining me now, up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth, Aaron Roth was boss here at the Big House. How are you doing, my man? What a win, what a run for the 57. So, congratulations, man. This one has to feel even more special for you now, doesn't it? Bear with me just a moment, Aaron, as I am terribly sorry. It has not been a good day for internet connections, and I see you're not translating. Just give me one moment. I'm going to kick it in the pants here. Make sure you get your time here with the audience on the broadcast. Just bear with me just a moment. Let's give this a shot. Aaron, you still with me, bud?
Yeah.
There we go. Now the broadcast can hear you. If you could say that one more time, I do apologize.
Yeah, we had a real good race and ran 2 Daytona 500s in the last 2 days, and this is my first Daytona 500 win.
Yeah, yeah.
And that feels good. Yeah, that last week, luckily got by 2 wrecks and didn't have to use fast repair and ran good all day. Now that last restart behind Andrew, I said, man, I just got to push the heck out of this guy, and we got to the front, and made a move, and that was it.
You got to lay the bumper like there is no tomorrow in those situations. You got to go for it. And that's exactly what you did. You dialed it up big time, and you guys came flying to the front.
That was
Go ahead.
the hardest I pushed all day.
I was going to say, I don't think you lifted off of the bumper of the 98 there at all. And you were able to, I was worried maybe you're going to blow up, but wasn't the case. Walk me through coming out of turns 3 and 4. When did you know you had this one in the bag?
Well, I mean, I wasn't even paying attention to the cool temp. I just had eyes on the bumper, and you just gotta go. If you blow up. You just gotta go, and it's like I don't want to run second, and I seen the cars coming outside, so I moved up, and that's all it took. So we flew right around.
Yeah, you certainly did. Taking a look here now on the instant replay of the final lap of this race. And then obviously just after the checkered flag, man, what a run. And like you said, you were up there all day. Great qualifying effort. You started just outside the top 10. How are you able to put together and execute on all phases of this race? I mean, green flag pit stops were a big part of this one. We've seen what it did to the field throughout those cycles, and you were always within an arm's reach of the lead, and just well execution on your part. And again, congratulations getting your first Daytona 500 win. I am thrilled for you. Before I cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on the 57?
I do have a spotter, Roselli. She helped me do spots on the super speedway. We have Storm Chase TV on Twitch. Go give them a follow, Storm Chase TV, and then we got some Storm Chasers coming up here pretty soon. We'll be out on the road.
That's right. March 1st, just around the corner. A fellow Storm Chaser here as well. And season kind of kicked off here early, given what's transpired the last couple of days. It's been pretty rowdy.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Not to change, shift gears from NASCAR to storm chasing, two different things. But
Right.
I'll tell you what, You were the EF5 out there on the racetrack at the end of this thing, and you brought it, man. Way to elevate, way to get it done, and hope to speak with you again soon and see you here in Racers Elite. Enjoy the Daytona 500 in real life. Enjoy the win, and I hope to speak with you soon, bud.
Hey, don't forget to put my name on that trophy.
I'll make sure, Andrew. I'll let Andrew know. We got you, buddy. Enjoy it.
Thanks for Andrew for putting this on. Everybody did. We had a great race today. So.
Phenomenal race.
Good times. All right.
Appreciate you, Aaron. I'm going to put you back down here in the broadcast waiting room. Buddy, I am still in the middle of a broadcast. Okay, just give me one moment and I will help you out. Certainly last year, but not least, joining me now up topside in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth comes home speed number 2, Sean Dunaway. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, hey, man, first and foremost, I mean, this race, this finish did not come easy to you. You started deep in the woods, up 28 positions. I mean, you had a full dose of everything out there. You had the carnage, the chaos, the, missing and escaping death a couple times out there on the racetrack. How were you able to put it all together and be lights out when you had to be in overtime to come home P2?
Yeah, so the plan was the first 198 laps, sit myself here and just hang out. Unfortunately with these Gen 7 cars, it's not as easy, compared to like the Xfinity cars or the trucks. Like, if you lose that draft, you're pretty screwed. Luckily, the caution fell at the right time. We were able to keep it up there. But especially, that it was a caution round somewhere between 180 or 190, I believe. Yeah, there was like an incident in the back of the front pack that I got caught up in. Luckily, I was able to find another pack and not get that lap down. Luckily that happened. Then that next wreck happened, and then I was able to close that for P2. So pretty excited to get that Hello Kitty car into position.
Yeah, hello, Kitty. More like hello, Sean, there at the end of this thing. I mean, that was brilliant performance there by you at the end. And again, want to thank you for coming out, putting that race car out on the field, and going out there and having yourself a morning on the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Sean, before I cut you loose, brother, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the 0-1?
Yep, I'd like to thank my wife, my mom and stepdad for always watching, and my cats for always trying to win my race here.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, put together a blockbuster of a performance today, surviving the carnage, the chaos, being bad fast at the end. He said, hello, Kitty. I say hello, Sean, for P number 2 at just almost got a W here. But, hey, he'll take a solid second-place finish. He'll take that and the mojo going into next week, and we hope to see you again soon here in All Things Racers Elite, buddy.
Yep, thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir. I'm going to go ahead and put you back down in the broadcast.